I'm living in North Carolina, and a few weird things happen here. So I'll probably get off a little bit topic of like things connections to my grandparents as well, because when I lived in this house in North Carolina, it was just so many creepy things happen. So many creepy things happen.
Tell us everything.
I will. So, I had 3 roommates. One of them I dated. 2 others, they were his friends. I'll just call them A, B, and C.
Okay.
Literally abbreviating all their names.
Okay.
So I was dating A, and then B and C were his friends / coworkers. So a few weird things happened while we were in the house, and one of the weirdest things happened. So we were just talking about like spiritual stuff, kind of like what we were doing, what your whole podcast is about.
Oh yeah.
So
like what we're doing right now.
Literally what we're doing right now. So he was sharing his story, and he got like really weird and creepy though. He said that he like spoke to somebody who was like a professional on this topic, and apparently he's seen something. It gets all weird and dramatic. He like stares in the distance, like zones out. Okay. And I'm like, okay.
All right.
So, but I'm like supportive, like I'm trying to be that supportive girlfriend, We're like, okay, like let me like listen. What was the story? But he goes, I don't remember it. This woman just told me that it changed me, and like his sister who also witnessed it. They don't remember whatever happened to them, but whatever happened to them changed them or whatever. And I was like, okay, like this is weird.
That's really weird.
You don't know, huh?
That's really weird and vague. Like how on earth would you?
Yeah, and then he just like zones out, and I was like, okay, this is weird. But I thought that was also an invitation for me to share my spiritual experiences. So we were watching a show, and I had this like big Yankee candle, and for whatever reason, I remember annoying ex, he hated it. Like it just gave me joy, and he hated it. And I was talking about how certain lights would either flicker or something would happen, like when I talk a lot about my grandparents. And he was like after he was done talking about himself, he was just done, and like he didn't want to talk about it anymore. And he was like, okay, yeah, like mocking me. And he goes, why don't you tell your grandpa to turn off the candle? And I was like, that's not how it works. And I'm talking to him about how how these things sometimes will happen. And as I'm explaining it to him, he literally goes, shut up. And I go, what? And he literally gets up. And remember, we're in North Carolina, so he grabs his AR. He was a military guy. He grabs his AR. He goes, I heard a noise. I said, I didn't hear anything. He goes, I heard a noise. Like, I heard something in the back of the house. And I was like, you could go look. I'm going to stay right here. So I paused the TV, and I don't remember if I had my dog there yet or not. I'm pretty sure I had my dog, but I didn't hear anything. She didn't freak out. Like if she was there or not. But he gets up and he checks the whole house, and as he's checking the house, like it's night, it's dark out, it's at night, and he turns on all the lights of the house. He turns on every single light, turns it on, and then he goes to the back of the house, in the last room. This was B's room. And the light wouldn't turn on. Every light turned on, this room would not turn on, and there was like a fuse blown.
Okay.
And I was like, I told you.
I
said
you.
Every time I'm talking heavily about my grandparents, the lights go out. Some light goes out.
Interesting.
And I was like, he was like not listening to me at all. Like he's like, no, it's just a fuse. No, you're wrong. Yada yada, and like trying to be all like skeptical or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, I just find it weird that as I'm talking about this, a light goes out and you hear a noise. You get all creeped out. I'm fine, like,
Yeah.
And I'm talking to B about this, and B, turns out B is very, very into like spiritual stuff, and he's like fully creeped out. Like he doesn't want to sleep in his room tonight. And
that was his room?
Yeah, that was his room. That was B's room. And B's like, why my room? Oh my God. And I remembered, I was like, oh my gosh, guys, it has to be my grandpa, because I was like rummaging through my stuff and organizing, and every time you're organizing your room, you got to get sidetracked by something.
Oh yeah.
You fully, like, you got to spend like 10 minutes like looking at whatever, know. So I was looking at my old notebook, and obviously, of course, I had to read it, and I I see a photo. Like, I flipped to the last page on the back of it, and there's some photos, and one of them was a photo of my grandparents together. So earlier that day, I saw a picture of my grandparents, and I remember I posted it on my Snapchat story, and B was like, "Oh my gosh, you're right, because I saw it on your story." He goes, this is right, like, this is them. He goes, "But why in my room?" Like, he's still fully like creeped out. But yeah, that was creepy. I was like, this is clarification. This is weird. Every time I talk heavily about them, something weird happens like that.
Oh, well, perfect.
Well, I feel like maybe I do feel like it happens around people that aren't good for me. Like a sign. Yeah, like it happened with my very toxic ex, and then again like another ex. Like again, like when I was talking to him to stop me talking, he would say shut up, and that was like to get me to stop talking, he goes shut up.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice. And then the lights went out. I was like, this was perfect timing. Like, as he's being so skeptical and like putting me down, like that happens.
The question that just keeps running through my head is, was his AR just right there? Like,
oh my gosh.
Did he just have it like right by him? Sorry, just like
this is North Carolina.
You're just chilling, and like he's
military
just, like,
workers
just grabs his, like reaches for it.
Yes, they all had their AR. They built all their ARs. They're all three of them were in the Marines. They all built their ARs, and I was a very, very heavy sleeper. This will actually go into play into another story that was really weird.
All right.
I'm a heavy sleeper, kind of off topic, but they would keep their ARs like lined up, like trying to show it off on the kitchen table. And in order to get to my room, you have to pass the kitchen table. And we lived in like a really weird, like awful area. Like people will say this town's bad. I was like, no. The town that I lived in, North Carolina, was absolutely awful.
Oh my God.
And they were like, well, nothing better happened to you because we have all these ARs. Like, you know how to use the gun. We showed you how to use the gun. You're going to be fine. I said, no, so you're telling me that I said, I sleep through everything here. We had security systems surrounding the house, and I slept through it. Like, if somebody opened the door, it would do this loud beeping, all that, like full-blown security. And I said, I slept through the security. I slept through the vacuum. Like, I sleep through absolutely everything. And you think that someone who's sneaking into the house, who breaks into the house, is going to wake me up. Like, somehow I'm going to get up, grab the AR that's in the same room that they're going to be in on the way to my room, and I'm going to be able to somehow get the AR. Like, how is your logic? Like, does that make sense?
No.
Like,
I'm just going to cartwheel into the kitchen and grab one of the 3 ARs.
Like, I'm going to beat it. Like, as if they're not going to pick it up.
Just both of them.
I don't know if any of you have ever held an AR.
I have.
Okay. Hold an AR as a 101-pound girl. Like, and I said, I'm not going to kill someone with an AR. Like, you're going to die if I shoot you with an AR. Like, how am I going to...
They're scary.
And it's not my gun.
Yeah,
it's not my gun.